I don't think a video ranking anything is ever going to end well because we all have our own opinions, and that's the way I'm going to list these games. It's my own personal opinion. So if you disagree, let me know, but there's no point getting upset over it. Now, I have tried in the last year and a half to play every PS4 exclusive, but unfortunately there are still some I haven't played yet, which means they won't be on the list. So if your favourite game isn't here, I'm sorry, but I have played most of the big ones. I couldn't actually remember all the exclusives off the top of my head, so I went on that website tiermaker.com to organise all the games to make my list, and you'll notice I didn't include any games from other consoles, but I did make one exception. I left out God of War 3 because, yeah, it looks amazing, but it's a PS3 game, so it's just a little too close to the PlayStation 4 generation, so I couldn't justify putting it on a PlayStation 4 exclusive list. You'll notice I put The Last of Us in there. That's because there's no The Last of Us Part 2 option. Anything else I either didn't play or, like I said, is a port or a remaster. Medieval, you could argue, is a new game because of how different it looks, and I would have included it if I had tried it out, but I haven't played it yet. I also haven't played Death Stranding, and making this list made me a little bit self-conscious of how many PS4 exclusives I still haven't got to. But I'm saving my money for the PlayStation 5. That PS4 ship has sailed for now. I will eventually get round to them because of backwards compatibility, but for now all I want to think about is Spider-Man Miles Morales coming out later this year because that's our next big release. Before we get into today's video, it would really help me out if you hit the like button down below. It only takes a second and it would help me with getting recommended to other people just like you. Alright, I think we'll go worst to best, and I am nervous about this one. I'm probably going to have to download all these games to get footage. I have a 2TB hard drive, it's just they'll take forever, unless my brother has some of them installed on his PS4. Anyway, Bloodborne. I don't like it, but I don't like Souls games, so I mean, I'm not going to enjoy this one. I don't know how anyone enjoys them, but people keep buying them. I just don't have the patience for this game or any Souls game. If I can't run in and slash a monster 3 times and move on, it just isn't for me. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm just saying it's really not for me. Plus, my most prominent memory of playing this game is me not knowing where I was supposed to go. There didn't really seem to be any indication on what I was meant to be doing, so I got mad and switched to a game like Call of Duty or something. I put Killzone Shadowfall and Gran Turismo on the list, but I've only briefly played these and don't actually own them. I just know that they were good. The game I made an exception for is Shadow of the Colossus. I've seen PS2 gameplay and this version is remarkably different, and in 4K HDR you're in for a treat. I've only beaten the first 3 Colossi, but I mean, I've seen enough to know it's a good game. Is it a great game? I just don't think it's fleshed out enough. I mean, obviously I haven't given it the best run I possibly could, and I will be going back to it, but where I'm at in the game, I'm happy for this to be it all because there's something just eerie about the atmosphere when travelling, and I love how it kicks into 11 when you start fighting a Colossi. I've really only talked about 2 games and I've definitely already pissed some people off. Infamous First Light is such a good disappointment. I adore Infamous Second Son, the gameplay, the characters, the writing, everything. I just love it, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I've beaten that game so many times and you can check out my review, it's on the channel, but First Light just doesn't do it for me. Also, I'm using Second Son footage here because I had First Light on my old account's PS Plus games and I'm not resubscribing just for this small part of a video. My biggest issue with First Light is that the story just didn't pull me in as much as Second Son, and I wasn't a huge fan of the characters, but I mean, it's still Infamous and it's still good. Then we've got Dreams. I like Dreams, I really do, but that amazing demo was enough for me. I got that awesome introduction and got to play the hand-picked levels. Even being able to search and see in the demo what is actually on the full game is neat, but I'm going to have to wait until this one goes down in price just a little bit because I can't see myself putting a pile of time into it, but I do love Media Molecule. Drive Club is pretty good. I got it with my original PS4, so that's going back a while, and I mean, I never really know what to say about racing games other than they look good and the cars are nice. I do plan on reviewing Drive Club at some point because someone requested that and I thought I'd do it for them. So when I properly drive back into it, I wrote dive, yeah, I'll be able to let you know all about it. Ratchet Clank is so fun for what it is. As someone who's never really played Ratchet Clank before, I've got the PS2 games and one on the PSP, so I will get around to them, but the only one I have played is the PlayStation 4 remake. The worlds are super fun to look at, and the game is just so fun and chill. It doesn't require too much from you, which I can appreciate. Definitely going to review Ratchet & Clank as well, and I'll probably compare it to its PS2 counterpart on the channel. This is where things get very, very dangerous, and I hope my opinion changes, but for right now, the next game, and it's at the top of the good tier, God of War. Now, before you take your pitchforks out and try and hex me, this may have Kratos in it, but to me, it's not a God of War game. It's God of War in name, but that's it. And don't get me wrong, I'm a massive, massive God of War fan. But to me, God of War is a fixed camera angle, hack and slash, fairly linear feeling game with good puzzles. I've got as far as maybe 6 hours into this game in my last attempt, and it's really good, but it can never seem to hold my attention. And what's stopping me from going back again is a couple of months ago, my hard drive got corrupted, so I lost that save file, which was the furthest I have ever actually got into the game. And I know people regard it as this masterpiece, and maybe it is. 6 hours isn't the most fair chance I can give it, but I just struggle with this one, even though I know how amazing it is. We're into the very good tier now, and starting us off in it is Uncharted 4. I've already said so much about Uncharted 4 in my review, and it's just brilliant. It wraps up Nathan Drake's story in such a great way, and the introduction of Sam as a character is something I just love. I was really sad to see Drake's story come to a close, but they couldn't have handled it better in my opinion. And this game just knocks it out of the park because they were able to refine everything that the first 3 games and the Vita game brought to the table, with the addition of the grappling hook and everything just being on a much grander scale. I love Uncharted 4. I was surprised there was a SpiderMan game announced when it got announced. My brother came in and told me, and I honestly wasn't that excited, but they couldn't have chosen a better team than Insomniac to execute its arrival. I wonder if in a parallel universe Treyarch did it, because they did Spider-Man 2 on the PS2. I'm fairly certain Activision owns Treyarch, but I bet the parallel universe exists where Activision doesn't own Treyarch and they made the PS4 game. This is the game that got me back into playing games. For I want to say maybe about 2 years I was gaming a lot, but it was Call of Duty, GTA Online, Minecraft, just all very online games, and I didn't have much time for single player experiences. My friend told me, come on, you have to play through Spider-Man, it's such a good game, and I did, and immediately I was looking for the next game to play. I loved it, I got the platinum, and it's just a really exciting game to play through. After Spider-Man, which I believe I started playing in December 2018, I needed another game to play, so I ended up getting Horizon Zero Dawn for Christmas from my brother, and I just got sucked in by this game. The environments are gorgeous and combat just feels so fun and fluid. I haven't played the game since then, so I need to replay it, but I recently bought the Frozen Wilds DLC, and now that I have the PS4 Pro, I'll be able to experience it in all its glory. Plus, I'll need to replay it before Horizon Forbidden West launches next year on PS5. Okay, now we're into the amazing tier, and this is where people will either be loving me or hating me, because my 4th favourite PlayStation 4 exclusive is Ghost of Tsushima. If you've seen my review, you will know how much I adore everything about this game, so if it's 4th, how much do I like the other ones? The combat, the surprisingly emotional story, the beautiful open world. If you want to be lost in a game that feels so magical, this is the game for you. Ghost of Tsushima wrapped up the generation amazingly. We're in the top 3, and this was a genuinely really difficult one for me to pick between 2 and 3, but I'm going to give number 3 to Days Gone. Yet again, if you've seen my Days Gone video, you'll know why. I just didn't expect to enjoy this game as much as I did, especially because I went in essentially blind. Plus, I can thank this game for kickstarting my channel. I wasn't sure where to start, and I began by writing the script for a Days Gone review and went from there. Then I did some PS5 topics before actually making the review, but I mean, Days Gone is really where it started from. The world is amazing looking on PS4 Pro, and the open world traversal on motorbike is so unique. I love it. The guns are all fun to use, and the technical marvel that is the hordes just screams quality. I wonder how many hordes they'll be able to put on the PS5 Days Gone 2. Sony Band Studios better be working on Days Gone 2 because they already have my money. Number 2, which is definitely not in many people's top 3 whenever you stack it up against everything else, it's Infamous Second Son. This was my number 1 for about 6 years until it got derailed by the next game that I'll talk about. I just feel like Infamous Second Son has so much replayability, and Dawson Rowe, voiced by Troy Baker, is such a likeable main character. The story plays out really well, and getting the platinum for this one didn't ever feel like a chore because I happily played through the game about 6 times by now and love the extra challenge of expert difficulty. Oh yeah, I also got the platinum for Days Gone as well. Number 1, I'm sure you've figured it out by now, The Last of Us Part 2. This game was beyond controversial, but you know what? Objectively, it is amazing. The animation quality, be it hands or facial animation, is just unrivaled by any other video game I've played in my life. Everything in comparison looks so stiff, and that's something that just can't be overlooked. Naughty Dog have made some of my favourite games, but this one honestly tops it. I've never felt so strongly about characters in any movie, book, television show or game before. I never got so angry or devastated or overjoyed by any form of media before this, and The Last of Us Part 2 just takes the crown for me, honestly. A few honourable mentions would have to be The Last of Us Remastered. I played this in December 2019 and it got me interested in the series. God of War 3 Remastered got me into God of War, and Tearaway Unfolded for just being a great Vita game that translates to PS4 in a fairly meh way, but it's still an amazing game. I also want to throw in Little Big Planet 3. I love Little Big Planet so much. I'm a huge fan. But it was also a PS3 game, and also the same with Persona 5. It's not a PS4 exclusive, and I've never actually played Persona. I'd love to play Persona, but I've just never got the chance to, and it's like 100 hours long. That's all for today though. If I missed your favourite game, I'm sorry, but I can really only go by what I've played and stuff I know about. Let me know down in the comment section below, what are your favourite PS4 exclusives? If you enjoyed today's video, please consider hitting the like button down below, and if you really enjoyed, why not subscribe? It only takes a second. If you want to stay up to date with the channel, you can find me over on Twitter at AnthonyJGaming. I'm also on the PlayStation Network as AnthonyJGaming, and finally you can find me over on Instagram as AnthonyJosephGaming. Thank you again so much for watching today's video. Bye.